To be is by far the most important verb that exists in the English language. So it's super important that you know how to conjugate it. To conjugate a verb means to change it depending on who the subject is, who is doing the action. As well, with a lot of verbs, we can contract them, combine them to make a shorter form with the subject. This is a contraction. So I will show you the contractions as well as the long forms in positive and negative sentences. So let's start with these things. Positive conjugation. So in the positive, we have I am, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, they are. We also have a short form. We contract or shorten these into something shorter. I am becomes I'm. He is, he's, he's. She is, she's, she's. It is, it's, it's. We are, we're. You are, you're. Most often in spoken English, you hear this pronounced your. So exactly the same pronunciation as the possessive pronoun your. Other times, depending on accent or situation, some people say you were, with almost an extra vowel sound in there. For you, make it easy. Always say your. So exactly the same as the pronunciation for the possessive pronoun. And finally, they are becomes their. You do sometimes hear that with a little bit of that same extra vowel sound in the middle. You were. But make it easy for yourself. Just say their. It's also the exact same sound of the possessive pronoun their. But now you know that sometimes you will hear it slightly different from native speakers. I am, I'm. He is, he's. She is, she's. It is, it's. Also notice that he is and she is become he's, she's. The S has a Z sound, or in British English, a Z. However, it is becomes it's, a soft S sound. Okay, we are, we're. You are, you're. They are, their. Negative conjugation. But what about the negative? We use negative sentences a lot. So let's look at how we make to be negative. And we'll look at the short form, the contraction, that the negative has as well. I am not. So we can see that not is how we make this verb negative. And in the short form, the contraction, remember, it's I'm not. I'm not. I am. I'm not. He is not. He's not. He's not. She is not. She's not. She's not. Getting a Z sound again here, remember? It is not. It's not. It's not. But look, now we have that soft S sound. It's. We are not. We're not. We're not. For we're, it sounds exactly the same as ear, but with a W at the beginning. We're. You are not. You're not. You're not. They are not. They're not. They're not. I am not. I'm not. She is not. She's not. He is not. He's not. It is not. It's not. You might have noticed too that she, he, and it share the same conjugation. However, he and she have that Z sound and it has that soft S sound. We are not. We're not. You are not. You're not. They are not. They're not. Long form versus short form. So when do we use the long form and when do we use the short form? A couple reasons. First, in spoken English, we like to make things shorter and easier to say. So we contract. That is, we use short forms more often. It's just much more common in spoken English. So in spoken English, the short form, the contracted form, is much more popular. In written English, especially in essays or your homework, we usually don't contract. We prefer the long form, unless you are writing in an informal way, like with friends. And finally, In spoken English, we do sometimes use the long form, but really only when we want to emphasize something, to stress it and focus on it a little bit more. As well, we also use it in very formal situations, like an important work meeting or talking to your boss. Let me give you some examples, and you try to tell me why we're contracting using the short form and why sometimes we're not. Remember, pause the video when you hear the sound and press play again after giving your response. I still can't find it. I told you, it is over there. I didn't contract in the second sentence because it's for stress, emphasis. Dear Sir or Madame, it is an honor to write you this letter. Written English using a formal tone. Dude, it's so cool to finally meet you. This is spoken English and very informal, so we contract. Mr. Parker, I am looking forward to watching your presentation this morning. Here we don't contract because it sounds very formal. It looks like it might be a writing too. No, the boss said I am responsible for it. What? You are responsible for the project now? Here we are really stressing the subject, putting emphasis, using to be with adjectives and when describing people. I told you, to be is very common and very important. We need to use it with adjectives, and often when describing people, like their age. Let's look at some examples. And also later in this course, we will talk a lot more about adjectives. To be scared of something. He's scared of slipping on the ice. To be sick. She's sick, so she won't be at work today. To be an age. I'm 44 and my parents are both 70. Notice that in English we use to be with age, not have or with. Many advanced students make this mistake, but not you, right? He's Brazilian and they're Indian. No, you misheard me. I said that I am too tired to go out tonight. It's rainy today. If you're hungry, we can go to a cafe. Notice here it's to be hungry, not to have hunger. That, there, and here. We're going to look more at these later, but just to tell you right now how we contract them, we shorten them when followed by to be. And the rules about whether to use the long form or the short form are exactly the same if the situation is formal or informal in spoken English, or if our writing is formal or informal. And we also don't contract if we want to stress something, to emphasize or point it out. Here are some examples. That, there, and here. There's a new restaurant. Do you want to eat there? There's your car, over there. Here's my address. Look forward to seeing you. That's my son in the front. Oh, here's the entrance. Excuse me, sir and madame, but there is no more seating available. I am terribly sorry. Wait, there is more seating or there is not more seating? Speak louder, I can't hear you. All right, so that was our introduction to the most important verb in English, to be. So go do the homework and keep practicing.